We're currently in the city of Chicago right now, and they've turned this town into a surveillance society. Look at that, light cameras on almost every other light pole. In a residential neighborhood, cameras with like a, there's like a, it can also pick up audio, people's voices. Isn't that incredible? And that's in the outer ring of the city, over here on Pulaski. So this is the area where I used to live in one of these condos right here along this strip of condominiums right across from Bogan High School. Yep, that's right. I think my subscribers and viewers from Oz, I think they might get a kick out of the name of this high school right here. William J. Bogan High School. It's the backside of Bogan High School, and I got out of the car real quick. So we're in the city here. I just want to show where the surveillance society Chicago is. There's a speed camera up there. There's a camera on the light pole there. There's cameras on almost every other light pole. There's a red light camera gadget thingy right there. And let's see. Well, if the cops are watching through those cameras, which they could do remotely with their squad cars, just bring it up on the computer that's in the squad car, and you can listen and watch. You can move the camera around that's on that light pole right there. And you can follow people around, and you can go from camera to camera. So you can go from one camera. I know this because my family's in the police industry. So you can go from camera to camera. So you can switch from that one to the next one down the block to this. So you can follow somebody for miles, actually. So yeah, this is Bogan High School, and yes, this is the neighborhood I grew up in. Over there, that's what happens to graffiti. They paint over it. So if you don't paint over it, the city comes and paints over it for you, and then they charge you $750 fine. So yeah, Bogan High School generated Bogans. That's the neighborhood I grew up in, right here. Nothing. There was never anything around here. Like, it's just an area with a lot of houses and a dead and dying shopping mall, even way back in the 1980s. It's called Ford City Shopping Center. Well, that camera's on an angle, but oh well. Even way back in the 80s, the mall was like, it was dead. It was full of like kiosks and nonsense shops, and it was ahead of its time in the way of a mall failure. And well, the neighborhood was changing back then. See, this doesn't really happen in a lot of cities, but like this neighborhood used to be all white, okay, and that's how Chicago works. All right, and now it might be like 5% white and maybe 40% black, and the remainder Latino and Middle Eastern, Asian. So when the neighborhood changed, right, or started changing, you know, the school is not big enough, so they put mobile school buildings in, because the school, which was built like in the 1940s, wasn't big enough to accommodate the fact that you have so many immigrants moving in. And unlike the people that lived here, you know, they have multiple families living in these little small houses, like people living upstairs, people living in the basement, sometimes people living in the garage. So you have like a overpopulation, so it's actually more crowded than it used to be. Onward. These people right here used to call the police on me constantly, that live in this house right here. Left, right, and centerfold. They would call the cops on me. That right there, that's a coach house, that little house back there. I know a lot of people would be going, that looks like a very nice neighborhood you grew up in. Yeah. It's okay, I mean. So yeah, anyway, this block is a few blocks from the house that I grew up at, and this street never really had a lot of trees on it. But yeah, here's another, like a gunshot listening device. See that thing up there on the light pole? I hate this. I just don't like the surveillance. Anyway, I'm headed over to my cousin's house. That's why I'm in the city. I dislike these speed humps right here. When I was younger, they didn't even exist. There was no such thing as a speed hump. So I'm wondering, I always wonder what changed. When the neighborhood changed, what changed? Why do they suddenly need speed humps? Anyway, I guess I'm coming here to collect a few things as my cousin's cleaning the house out.